Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conqueror Chronicles. My name is Benny. I'm not hosting, I'm just doing the intro because Phoenix sucks. Welcome to, I guess, season 2.
Yeah, it's
We
season
are
two.
covering season 43 of AD2L, mostly Conqueror, but I'm sure at some point we'll get into some other topics in the AD2L sphere. But for this week, I am joined by the lovely Dr. Spike, the Dota Doctor. How you doing tonight, Doc?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Geeked out.
Thanks so much for tearing me a new asshole on Thursday. Phoenix, how are we doing tonight?
I'm just feeling absolutely wonderful. The fact that I don't have to do the intro, I'm just cloud nine right now, honestly. So
Happy to be of assistance. I'm also joined by the wonderful Simba, aka Jeff from what team are you on
Grin
again?
Scythe.
Grinscythe.
I mean, I'm
Wonderful
like the
Simba, aka
lone,
Jeff from Grinscythe.
like the lone representative of Grin anymore. I mean, Org's dead. I mean, the Org's gone to CS2, so very dead
Has it actually?
organization.
This
Yeah,
is news to me.
yeah, we have a minor league CS2 team that is competing in.
Oh, that's actually pretty interesting.
Oh yeah,
And last but certainly not least, I am joined by the man with the biggest, juiciest hole in all of 82L Conqueror, Twubz. How you doing tonight?
Yo, yo, yo. I'm doing good. Me and Dr. Spike just lost a unfortunate 68-minute long Battle Cup game. It's very tragic.
Very sorry to hear that.
Is it T-Wubs or Twubs though?
It's Twubs.
It's
It's Twubs.
Twubs. It's
Yeah, and
Twubs.
every time you say T-Wubs, I look like that meme with the kid with the big forehead vein. I'm just incredibly pissed every time. I'm not
Okay,
T-Wub.
all right.
I let
He's
slide.
Twubs.
I'm tactful.
He's Twubs, and he also has a
Oh.
very good profile picture. By the way, guys. If
Yes,
anyone's
yes. Don't
wondering,
look it up.
don't look
Unless
it
you
up.
want to. Unless you
Don't
want
look
to.
it up. Unless you
Oh,
But
want.
when we want to be Twubs, we call him T-Wubs. Got it.
Yes.
And
That's
have
it.
like a
Now
base or
that
something after it.
now that we've gotten the intros out of the way, Phoenix, would you like to key us into our first topic tonight?
Absolutely, Benjamin. Thanks very much for that lovely introduction there for everyone. But yeah, just like same thing with season one. I just kind of want to start with how the teams were formed. I think that's always an interesting part and something that I think people would be interested in hearing about. Jeff, let's start with you because obviously Grin Scythe is my old stomping grounds here. I'm curious how that team shaped up after a rough season last season during 42.
I took back ownership of Grin Scythe from. I took it back from. My brain's not operating. I took it back ownership of it, and then decided to make a team with Chronicles. Me and him build around it. Yeah, I took back ownership from Revamp. I was gonna say you. I don't know what I was gonna say you, but I took back ownership from Revamp. It was me and Chronicles to start, and then I had a few tryouts for 4, 2, and 5. Ended up with Clarkles talking to Hexy. Hexy joined along with Nurch. And then, as you can see, we had Greybush going into the start of the season. And then the day before season start, we ended up going with Unruly Bear, who was on a team with Hexy last season and Champ. So we went, and plus I got approved for an Ancient 3 replacement player. So I was like, cool, let me go get a better player.
So, Unruly Bear is one of Hexy's previous teammates. Did I hear that
Yeah,
right?
they
Last
played on
season,
Champ
yeah.
last season.
Last
Okay,
season.
that was the only player on that team that I wasn't familiar with. Obviously, I
I'm-
know. Well, I've never. I think I've only played a pub or two with Nurch, but I'm familiar with him through Riley. So
I know that Nurch and Hexy are really good friends, and then yeah, last season that they were on the Ducks team that did actually better than people thought. They beat the Golf Stack in the playoffs because I think Golf had to use a stand-in for Samurai, and they were able to beat them, I believe. But yeah, no, I've heard good things. I think Yoshi's thought that he was pretty good too, so kind of
Yeah,
makes sense.
Nurch is really solid. I wish he would talk a little bit more, but he's a great player.
that whole family has to be gifted, I guess.
There you go. There you go.
I
Oh,
mean, played a couple pubs with Hexy's cousin yesterday. That was interesting. They act the exact same. So,
oh,
little goofy little goobers.
this is new lore. I gotta play with Hexita's cousin. What the hell? All right.
No, it's because Hexy's cousin's like Legend 5, and we forced him into off lane, and we had to micromanage him. It was pretty fun.
All right. Well, fuck. Fair enough then. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Well, hopefully Scythe has a better season. Well, it's almost impossible you have a worse season actually. So it's
Did
it's
you?
pretty
You
much
guys didn't
only
even make playoffs last
no
season,
no.
and it
We didn't.
embarrassed me. And I'm like, Revamp, get out of here. I gotta get Grin Scythe back in the
I
playoffs.
I don't think it was Revamp's fault. But
I
anyway,
mean,
moving on.
it
Moving
might be
on.
your carry, but well, that's besides the point.
It's neither here nor there. Spike, for you guys are round 2 here for the Skeletons. After I would say a pretty shocking initial season where you kind of defied expectations. I know that you have a slightly different roster though. So how did that kind of all come together for you guys?
Jose is actually Billy's Kalsa childhood friend, so they've been playing Dota together since they've been
Wait, who
like.
is? Sorry.
So Kalsa and Josue are like childhood best friends. They've been playing Dota since like they were 5. So
Who's
wiping boogers on the wall.
Jose or
I would
Josue?
assume that's
Jose,
California.
yeah, Josue is Mr. California, and
Oh,
then
okay.
Billy is Kalsa. Sorry,
Okay.
I don't even call them by their
No,
in-game names.
it's good.
So yeah, they've been playing together, and Russ did great for us last year, but the heartbreak to Savage with Riley kicking him in, and then the buyback, it was too much to get over. But um, shout out to Russ for being solid and a great player. And then we're looking for a mid, and we played a couple games with Daddy Odin, and it just seemed to click well. He doesn't talk too much, and he doesn't talk too little. Um, it's like the great compliment to me yapping the whole game. So he comes in with a couple good one-liners and some added context to the shot calling, and it's feeling like a good fit so far.
I have to say, I was actually really impressed with Odin in our series because I've played not a ton with Odin, but we pub pretty consistently together. And I'm not trying to diss him or anything, but in pubs he's very inconsistent sometimes. He likes to sometimes, play a little trolly. We actually teamed together quite a while ago at this point. We were
Okay.
I think in Warrior or something together, but um I don't really see Odin go like locked in, but for this series he was playing like an absolute beast. It was crazy to see. So props to you for bringing that out of him.
I was also gonna add that I think when I initially heard that roster, I was really underwhelmed purely because I felt that Amace was like a really good X factor in a good way. Like he had some very unorthodox builds. I will say that. I didn't like all of his builds, but he was a very interesting player. Like with those like niche Nyx mid picks and shit like that. Like I felt like he was a
Oh
good
God.
like really good like player to kind of play around. And I thought losing him would be really bad. And in particular, I really didn't. I wasn't sure about Odin mid, but he looked really good in that first series.
Ace is great. He just plays a little slower, like in regards to the farming and getting his items. And when I see openings, I'm going for them. So there was like a little, not conflict, like we never had an issue, but he definitely wanted to farm a little bit more. Um, than maybe our team's tempo wanted him to on some heroes. So Ace is a great player, still a good friend of mine. But I think for what we're trying to accomplish, that uh, Odin presses his buttons and he's receptive to feedback, and everything's going pretty good.
Nice to hear. Nice to hear. All right. And then Twubs.
Yep.
Obviously this is the same MHKFC from last
Yeah.
time and the time before. So you guys have it. Has it been 3 seasons in a row now for you guys?
Yep. 3 in a row.
Oh
Same
my
5.
goodness. Yeah. So how did you guys all get together then?
This season or originally the first time?
Originally, I want the OG lore
Man,
here.
you want the OG lore? I
I
got
want
you.
the OG lore.
Man, about 11 years ago, 10 years ago, something like
Oh
that.
man.
9, something like that. I was getting the Dota. I had some people I met in pubs, and then Chandler 9 and then Ranger XO1, who both are on the team, were part of that initial set of people. Years later, probably like 5 years down the line, I think, MHK himself, he got more into Dota, and we started playing with him. And then Crollo, the last player, our Pause 5 player, he ended up coming into the team maybe a year ago, I want to say. We started playing with him, and we played a fair amount. And then we decided, hey, maybe we should play in like an amateur league so we can have a set day of the week, and it'll be kind of a more fun of way of engaging with the game we're playing than just queuing up for pubs randomly. So that was Warrior, and then we won that season. It was awesome. And then we played in Conk last season, and we started off really, really hot, and it was awesome. It felt great, and then we started losing every week 2-0, and we missed playoffs, and it felt very bad.
Yeah, that's such a
Now we're here.
strange duality. Eh? Like, I remember too, because I feel like in a way I fucking glaze cursed you too, because we got smashed by you guys 2-0 really convincingly, and I was like, oh man, this team's gonna be the team to watch. They're gonna do so good. And then after our series, you guys started losing. I was like, oh fuck, dude, like, god damn it.
Yeah,
Right when I
Major
thought they were
getting-
good, dude.
Yeah,
I
Major
think,
getting crushed by them looks sad.
I think our series against them when we won one, was that the first game they lost that
I
season?
think it might have been. Yeah, I think we won
Yeah.
one, and then we played IPA's team, and he like banished us to the Shadow Realm somehow, and we lost every week after that.
Didn't you guys
We
tie?
lost 2-0 to the IPA's team again this week, so that's not a good sign, right?
Oh, dude.
If history is a good predictor.
You might still be in IPA Shadow Realm. He might be
Yeah.
your Pegasus.
Yeah, maybe next season. But yeah, this season coming into it, we lost last season. We didn't make playoffs, and I think 4 out of 5 of our players were on board with playing again within like 3 days of the season ending. I was actually the only holdout. I was like, I don't know if I want to play again. I was a little bit bummed by us missing playoffs, and I kind of I don't know, like disassociate a little bit from trying hard. I was like, oh, I'm just playing for fun at the end of the season. I didn't mind like missing the last game of tiebreakers, for example, that much. So I wasn't like super bought in. I wasn't really motivated to play Dota that much. And I ended up deciding after a while to answer your initial point way back, Phoenix, about switching to Pause 4. I was like, man, I don't think I can play another season if I'm playing offlane. This is too boring. I feel like I learned all the heroes I wanted to learn. And so that's where the Pause 4 switch kind of came from. And then we decided to play.
I just feel like I don't know, like, okay. I think when I look at teams composition, right? They tend to have like higher rated players on core roles, right? Like which makes sense. Like you want your higher skill players to be on, win conditions, right? And I felt like you were a very big win condition for MHK. Like I felt scared of Twubz, Like it's like,
Sure.
okay, you had to be scared of him because he had these like fucking annoying ass broodmother picks, these enigma pick, you know what I mean? You had to be really afraid of the Twubs. Do you think you're gonna have that same fear factor on a 4?
Yeah, dude, check my Dota buff. My Morphling Pause 4 is
Oh, fuck.
unstoppable.
Oh,
Simba,
no.
It
Simba
is
can confirm.
awful. It is.
Simba can confirm.
Makes
I
me
gotta
wanna,
go. I'm
it makes
done.
me want to shoot my right pinky toe off specifically.
You went 2 and 15, was it?
I don't wanna
me
see
and
that
Simba were in a
ever
pub.
again.
Well, the whole story is that like I think I checked Champion League chatter one day randomly, and like someone was talking about like Chev playing Pause 4 Morphling. So I messaged him. I was like, "Shit, do you really do this?" And then he started telling me about it and was going to teach me. So I was like, "Hell yeah, man! I'll learn this." And it sounded cool, so I started practicing it. And I have not won a ranked game with it yet, despite playing like seven games on
Isn't
it. Yeah,
the
and I
only game
queued
you
into
won
Simba.
is a turbo?
Well, hold on, that's not fair. I won 2 turbo games. I had 2
Yo, my
turbo
point
wins.
stands. You've only won turbos with it.
Yo,
Awesome.
Yeah,
If we
I
count-
queued into last night. I queued into Simba and Hexy and another player on Grinch. I
It
believe
was
a third player.
Nerch. Yeah, it
Nerch,
was
okay.
Me,
And I
Hexy,
queued into
Nerch.
them. I picked the Morphling Pause 4. I'm feeling confident. I had 7 predicted wins in a row. I predicted. You can check the replay. It's true. And yeah, I went 2 and 15. I felt like Hexy was holding back with every fiber.
Dude, he
responding
was
to flame the shit out of me.
seething. I guarantee you,
He-
Hexy
yeah,
was seething. He probably
Yeah, he
Yeah,
messaged
our
at one
Discord-
point.
Discord
Warlock once
chat
with Hexy, and he
was-
was
he's
like,
like-
"What the fuck is that hero?" So I can only imagine.
Our
Well,
Discord,
like,
I can
Morphling
tell you,
was-
you want to know exactly what our Discord chat was
Yeah.
with me, Hexy, and Nerch was, this fucking Morphling is just useless. Is doing nothing but dying. God, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, he typed in chat at one point. He said it was probably like Hexy's most polite form of like Pastor Guzzer's Flame. I think he said like, "What exactly does pause 4 Morphling do?" I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean that's what we were all saying. Is like, what is this four morph supposed
Yeah,
to do? Like, what is
that's
it doing?
that's exactly.
Here's
what
the
I'm
real
saying.
copium take too. Is I swear to God, I think I'm not bad at it.
Oh no,
I think I'm just getting
dude.
unlucky. It's
Oh,
like the
That
meme of
is-
the guy mining for diamonds, and he's like close to the
He's
diamonds. I think I'm
close to
close to the
diamonds.
diamonds.
no,
I
dude.
I feel like
Here's my
that's your.
polite way of not trying to flame. Take it to the bot game, please.
Yeah. That's you know what? Listen, your toxic trait is thinking Morphling Forest for you. That's I guess that's
If
what
Chev
we're-
won with it, if Chev can do it, listen, no offense to Chev, I think Chev's a very good player. I
They
watched
pulled
his
it out of
replay.
the.
God.
They pulled it out
watched
of the
Chev's
Dota
replay.
major going on.
I watched the replay of Chev. There were some moments where I was like, I would have done that better than Chev would. I'm not saying I'm better or four.
Oh my god,
Okay,
bro.
alright.
It's so cooked,
What?
dude.
Yeah, but I'm playing pause 4 now, Phoenix, and I'll say, without getting too like gushy or sentimental or whatever, I'm a very egotistical person, and I try and battle the thing that you're talking about, the idea of like I'm the highest rated player, so I should be on the core. I need to carry. I need to be the focus of the draft. Because I kind of did that a little bit last season. MHK was drafting at the start of the season. We kept winning, and then I started drafting. We lost every fucking week, and so.
Oh no.
I think there's a line where like the ego of like I'm the highest ranked player, I think I'm the best, that can be detrimental. And so I don't disagree that I feel
So-
like my offlane heroes are like pretty intimidating, but I think other people can shine too. And
So what I'm hearing
we're
is
good.
you're trying to have the boxy effect on Liquid, but you're not quite boxy.
Deep down inside, I do want to carry from pause 4. I want to take all the farm. I do want to go like 20-0 deep in my soul.
Deep in
But,
my soul.
It's
Listen,
not happening yet.
I mean, have you watched any of the Fissure Major? Boxy's pulling out this Ricky. He's pulling out these core heroes on 4. Liquid pulled out 4 Slark and they won with the goddamn thing.
There you
Wait,
go.
they do? I gotta watch these. I don't watch any
Oh,
pro
don't
Dota.
give him any ideas, dude.
Don't give
Fucking-
him
I love
ideas,
this, though.
dude.
Ricky
MHK
4.
is cooked now, bro.
It was
Ricky
Lady Chandler and I has to
4.
play with this shit in pubs all week. Every Morphin
Why are you
rank,
guys
if you
trying
look
to ruin Twub's friendships with the rest of MHK? You
I'm
show
sure-
up like trying to
because
play
if
Flank
I'm
and Morphling every
seeing
game.
this across from me, I know I have a free double down. Okay, Spike, it's tactical.
Oh,
Tactical,
smart,
tactical.
Free
smart.
MMR.
Very
If
big
I run
brain.
in, if I run into Twubs in a pub and I see Pos for Ricky and Pos for Schluck, I'm like easy.
Well, you know what though? I will say this. I think that even with you on the 4, I think that your team is still pretty formidable. I think that you're a good player no matter what you do. And I think that a lot of your specialty 3s that people are kind of, as Benny said, your big juicy hole. I mean, that could be, a 4 enigma, right? Like you could do that.
Yeah.
It's possible. So I do think that you still instill the fear factor. So I wouldn't say it's entirely thrown. I just wanted to pick your brains about that switch over because it's a fairly substantial change, I think, for MHK. So
For sure,
I
it's a
just
big
wanted-
change for the team. It's a lot of adaptation involved with it too. My goal is eventually the same like intimidation factor with the cheese offlane heroes. There's the same level with cheese pause 4s. That's my goal. If that happens, I'll be so happy. Like people are first banning Morphling 4 or like Ariki or whatever the hell. So we'll see.
No, oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay,
I
Benny.
feel like a good
Oh,
good
go ahead.
4 can also like do a lot of things that people don't think about. Like it really opens the map. It gets, if you can be sneaky for the 6-minute runes, if you can like play off the map a lot, like it changes the dynamic of the game. So like having a really talented person on 4 is like it can make lesser skilled players look better too. So like I don't think it's like, not to say anyone else is lesser skilled, but I'm just saying like in general, like having a strong 4, I think you can get a lot done to help other lanes.
You absolutely can. I will agree with you on that. I think that supports the thing with them is that they carry the early to mid. So if you have a very talented player in the support role that can make a lot of moves happen, can kind of position you for success, you can have a really bad carry look really good if the supports are very good and set the game up for him to succeed. Right? So I do agree with what you're saying that like a really good 4 in particular, because the 4s roam, right? Like they can win 3 lanes at the same time. Right? So it's very important to have a really talented 4, and I'm very interested to see how Twubs progresses in the next couple weeks for sure, because I think that there's some potential there, 100%. I'm a believer still in the fan club. As I said last season, I am a fan of the fan club, so that's not changed. But Benny, I know that you guys have been kind of the same roster for a while. I'm not sure if there's anything much you can really add to how Savage came together, but maybe you can talk about the fact that you guys are even playing at all. Because last I heard, you were retiring. Frost couldn't find the time on Thursdays. You know, it was all coming down in shambles, but yet here you are.
So, it's kind of funny. So, I feel weird talking about this stuff sometimes because you know, this is an amateur video game league, and we're all coming here to, you know, blow off some steam or whatever. But for me, AD2L really is something special. I really do have a lot of at the end of the day, I have a lot of positive emotions towards like the fact that I get to be a part of this community for this game that I really love. Um, and I know some people think that's kind of cringe or whatever, so I don't always talk about it in public spaces, I guess you would say. But um, we were all feeling like really shitty after we lost to Jukes last season. I mean, anyone who watched that series can tell you it was just like it was a wet fart of a game for us. I think we were just like we were losing a lot of pubs that week. We hadn't really like dialed into like how we wanted to draft against them, and then in the actual games we just weren't really playing that well. So when we lost, it was just like the mood in the call wasn't like super doomer or anything. Like no one was like pissed or anything, but like you could kind of tell everyone was like a little down about it. Um, and normally I don't stick around too much after series because I go spend time with my fiance. So like I got off the call, I went and I sat with my fiance, and she was like, "Oh, like did you win?" And I was like, "Nah, like that was it. We're done." And she was like, "Well, there's always next season." And I kind of gave her a look because the only way, well, not the only way, but like when I pitched playing last season, I was like, "Oh, like this is going to be my last season. We've got like the wedding this year, and like we're going to be doing planning, and we're going to be really busy, so like I don't know if it's the best idea." So I kind of sold her on me playing last season as like, I think this will be my last season. I'm not going to do it anymore. So when she said that, I was kind of like, huh? Like, but I got like really excited. So I was like, hold that thought. I'll be right back. So I ran back to my computer and I logged on to Discord, and I see that everyone's still in the call. And I hopped in, and everyone was like, what the fuck? And I was like, have you guys seen The Wolf of Wall Street? And everyone was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I pasted the clip from the same one that I posted in Conch Chat, actually, the "I'm not leaving" speech. And of course there was an awkward 2 minutes as everyone loaded up the clip and watched it, like what the fuck. And Gav was like, "So what? Like you're not done?" And I was like, "I'm not fucking done. Like we just had like the worst fucking way that we could go out the end of this season, like low energy and all that shit. Like I'm not letting that be our swan song to playing in this league. So I'm coming back. Like we're playing again." And he was like, "Well, we got to like figure it out, blah blah blah. Like I don't know if Frost can do it because Frost has 2 kids now, and he's like going back to work and shit." Um, so I got off the call again, and then like 10 minutes later, Gav was like, "Get back on Discord." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going back and forth, back and forth." So I get back on the call, and he's like, "Yeah, so we just talked to Frost's wife, and she gave us the okay for him to play." And I was like, "Holy shit!"
What the fuck? What the
Did
fuck?
anyone record that? Because
I fucking wish,
we want to
dude.
hear it.
Honestly, I've talked a lot about recording comms, and maybe this season I'll get to it, but I really have a lot of regret for not recording comms because there was so much energy and hype. Like when I came back and I was like, "I'm not leaving." I felt so like excited and energized to play Dota again, and it was a really good feeling. But then, of course, I had to pretend like I wasn't coming back because I was going to get memed on for saying I was retiring and then not retiring, which happened anyway.
I was about to
So,
say that was inevitable no matter what, really. So
oh
I mean,
yeah.
it was like
Knew
it was.
you and Rhino were going nowhere the whole time.
Well,
Well,
actually,
I
Yeah,
don't know about
all right,
Rhino.
Brett Favre. We'll say you retired when you're actually retired.
I don't know about Rhino because it does feel more and more like that last content piece that he did like a couple months ago where he talked about like figuring out shit that was like more important than Dota. Like hearing that coming from him was pretty surprising, and that to me indicates that I think his days are numbered in terms of 82L. But I guess
he tried
that's
to
kind of
play
up to
this season
him.
though. Like that,
Well,
like
Sure
he
hope
did try to play, but
yeah, he
I
signed
think
up.
Yeah,
he,
his team fell apart.
if I remember, he was trying to play in Champ,
Yeah,
but
he's trying to play in champ, and then
uh,
listen, he's still pumped up, man. He made a post about the fact that he's a red shit and everything. So he was
Yeah,
he was ready to play, bro.
oh yeah,
He
yeah, he's
was
on his red shit year, you
he's
know.
on his red shit era, dude. Fucking oh my
he
lord.
did red shit us, that's for sure.
Okay,
Nah,
well let's not jump the queue, but yeah, no, that's all good stuff though. It's funny because like yeah, as soon as you said you were retiring, and I was like, oh man, that's interesting because you guys have been around so long, and then you kind of let me know too, and I was like, okay, there we go. Everything is
yeah,
right in the world. They're
I,
still
I
playing one more season, so
I will say like this season really is the last ride at least for now
oh
because
fuck off.
like
Until next
This is
season.
that's
All
what
right.
Until
you're just
next
moving
time.
for.
well
You're not doing
no
it
because
again.
the wedding's in September, which is if I'm remembering correctly, I think that's when 2 seasons from now would be
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah,
So
see, you can
like
play next season.
nah. It's there's just gonna be way too much going on.
It's
We're gonna
close
be
to the
doing a lot of
wedding.
stuff in the
Yeah,
summer. It's close to the wedding.
yeah. That
I'm gonna
sucks.
have like my bachelor party, and then I also have one of my close friends from college is also getting married, and I'm involved in the wedding party for that. I'm actually officiating that wedding, so I'm gonna have a lot of work to do for that. So there's just too much going on for me to reasonably commit to it. Plus, like I have I play D&D weekly on Tuesdays, and then I've got some other, things that I do during the week. So like having like several nights a week where I'm basically just like, yeah, babe, sorry, I can't do stuff. I'm playing video games or rolling imaginary dice with my friends. Doesn't leave a lot of room to negotiate for other things. So I have to be kind of judicious, and then I've mentioned it a few times, but like theoretically like next year I'd be open to coming back, but considering like after this season I'm probably going to be playing a lot less. I'm probably going to D-rank a bunch. I'm probably going to like come back to 82L. No one that I actually like playing with is going to be playing, or they're going to be on different teams or whatever. And then I don't know. Most of the reason why I came back is because I had the same roster. Like if we had to like replace Frost, I don't know if I would feel as good about doing it because I said it in my content piece, but like these four guys on Spirits right now, they're like my favorite people that I've met playing Dota. They're all really cool guys. Um, and like I just really enjoy playing 82L with them, and having played several seasons with like unknown quantities or like people that I didn't know going in and having it be like a really unpleasant experience. I wouldn't want to do that again. So like it really just all depends on what happens if slash when I come back. Like if the people available are people that I actually want to play with, maybe I'll just mercenary. I don't know. We'll see. But that's so far in the future. I'm not even thinking about that right now.
So what you're saying is, like your name suggests, this time it is the last ride for real.
It
For
is the
real
last
on
ride
God.
for real for now, at least for the next 2 seasons.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, well, thanks for sharing, everyone, your story on the team building. I really like learning this stuff. I think it's really interesting to see how the teams kind of all come together, and I find it really fascinating too when you have like these friendships that last so long. Like Spike, you were saying with Kalza and Sunday, and I don't know if people know, but me and Jeff, for example, we've known each other for Fuck, it's been a long.
Since
It's been
2013?
yeah, it's been a long time
Oh,
now.
Jesus
12 years.
Christ, how the
Yeah,
fuck have you been sticking around this long, Jeff?
yeah, it's actually incredible that I haven't gotten
I
bored of them
mean, you
yet.
guys want the lore? Or you want to say the lore?
That's some deep lore, dude. That's some
That's
deep
some
lore.
deep lore.
That's outside of AD2L lore. That's
Yeah, that's
another
just
time.
friendship lore. We found you
Another
in a
time.
random pub, me and
Another
Fish.
time, dude. Another
That's
time.
the short. That's the short and sweet.
Like
of
a
it.
drinking pub or a Dota pub?
No,
Dota
no.
pub.
That's not even the right lore, actually. So let's.
That's my lore.
No, I knew Fish because we were trying out for a
Oh.
different team way back in 2012. I was playing with him, and then we posted it for a carry, and then you accepted and then we play. Anyway,
Oh.
this is deep
Yeah,
lore. This is
yeah,
deep
yeah.
lore. So
Deep
anyway,
lore, deep cut.
getting back onto it though, let's go over week 1 matches because there was some definitely interesting results for sure. I think a lot of them went mostly expected. I think there was a couple upsets though in particular, but let's start with you actually, Jeff. I think most people
God.
expected a tie on this series, so
Yeah.
that was the result. But can you give me some insight how you felt that series, and what kind of happened?
Well, day after we swapped our fours, so I feel like if we had Unruly Bear for a little longer, it would have been an easy 2-0, but
I think it would have been an easy 2-0. Holy,
yeah.
okay.
But
Alright.
I think a lot of it is if you look back at the gameplay, it should have been. I'm, I'm surprised it wasn't an 0-2, just because if you look at how everybody was playing, all 5 people on my team were playing like it's a pub and we were playing for each other. Not for each other, but for ourselves.
That's certainly what
So
it looks like.
yeah. So it's something we gotta
All right, thanks, Benny.
Awesome.
something we gotta figure out and fix is how to play as 5 instead of as 5 individuals playing in a pub together. So got to figure and fix that. That should be relatively easy. I mean, our coach basically told us the same thing, that it looks like you guys are playing as individuals, not as a team. So figure it the hell out, or you guys are gonna suck. So simple as that.
I'm curious, who's your coach?
Moth Jets.
They have Moth
Oh, okay.
Jets, dude.
And
The
then
old Grin Scythe Pause 4 Immortal player. Guy's a
I
fucking legend, dude.
I would also like to ask, because I'm actually really curious about this team. What was your impression of Chewy Gang playing against them?
Do you want the uncut, unabbreviated, or do you want the professional sound?
Uncut.
Give me the uncut.
I feel like SEC should have been dumpstered a lot harder by Hexy. I feel like Hexy's probably top 1, top 2 mids in Conqueror this season. So I feel like SEC should have been. He got beat by Hexy in mid lane, but I feel like the first game should have been a lot harder. I know Hexy had him by a lot, but it just felt like it should have been a lot more. Personally, I've never had a high opinion of Fred as a player. I think he's not as good as his rank is. I feel like he's an inflated mid legend, high Archon player. Their support, for the reason they actually won the first game, their supports are really stupid good. So
I think
their
their
supports
carry is
were
really
just
good too.
yeah, their Gentleman's
good.
disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
he's really good.
literally that team feels like it's the 4, 5, and 1 just win them the game. The 2 and the 3 are just there. Fred's probably the 5th best player, and then Chewy SSC's the 4th best player.
I've heard really good things about Icicle. Their Pause 5. I've heard he's really good. I haven't watched any gameplay of him, but I've heard really good things. So definitely.
But yeah, if we're able to figure out how to play as 5 instead of as individuals, we'll be a lot easier and set up for a lot more success later in the season.
Well, that's great. I mean, I wanted the raw, uncut truth, but you just fucking mercilessly flamed a fucking league admin. So good job on that, Jeff. Appreciate that.
I have my other ad.
He's
I
a
have other
legend or high Archon at best.
I feel like Subwoofer's a better offlaner than him, and Subwoofer's Archon too.
What are you trying to do? Destroy our
Holy
league?
shit,
You're
Jesus.
creating internal strife.
All right. Anyway, okay, so that's how that matchup went. That's how that matchup went. I mean, I think I think that that series in particular I was pretty interested in because I feel like both of those teams are a little bit like sleeper good, I think. I really like Chewy Gang's roster. I'm a big Appa fan, or I guess gentleman, whatever he wants to go by. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's a really good carry. And Scythe has a lot of some personal friends. Obviously, Jeff, known a long time. I think you're pretty good on carry. I think Hexy's probably one of the best mids. Probably. This season in particular, I would agree with you. I think he's probably top one or two. I think a lot of the other mids this season are going to have a hard time against him. So I think it's a very interesting lineup, and thanks for the insight on the match. Um, but to move along here, this was a shocker for, I think for a lot of people, this was a shocker here. Um, Obviously it was the 5S showdown here. It was the SSS versus the SP.
5S.
This is like fucking 5S's in a row here. You
In honor
guys,
of the snake event.
yeah, exactly,
Oh
exactly.
god, that shit's so stupid.
But yeah, it was a 2-0 for the Skeletons here. Now, I will give the caveat for people that didn't know. Everyone should know. Savage was missing their offlaner Frost. Frost is also technically their highest ranked player. So their highest ranked player was not in the series. So let that be known. All right, let the record show. But that being said, though, it was a 2-0, and I think fairly convincingly for Skeletons. So maybe we'll start with Spike here. How did you feel about this series? I mean, obviously you 2-0'd, so I imagine you're feeling pretty good.
I I think we have the opportunity to beat anyone, and I felt that way last year. Like, just if we execute, we play well, and like do our thing. And we failed to do that a couple times last year, and slowly working out some of the kinks. Some people like were having a hard time adjusting to the speed difference between like a pub game and a league game, for instance, where you could like show in a lane and it not matter. But every piece of information's used well in the league. Um, so I think playing Savage, we prepared. We knew we were in for a tough matchup, and we tried to play our A game.
All right, good to know. Benny, from your perspective, obviously you did get the 2-0 loss there. What do you think went wrong for you? Do you think it was all Rhino's fault?
No, no, no. I think um I think you can explain a lot about how we lost this series based on I think Odin said it in Conch chat. He said I was talking about like getting the morph pick or whatever, and he said I think he specifically said we wanted you to pick the morph, and to me that was the big indicator that Spike just did better homework than us for this week because like um going into this series, I'll give a little bit of info, but Gav and I do some pretty serious like gamification on like drafting for the first phase, like going into every series. So like we come up with a set of like these are the heroes that are going to get banned like no matter what. These are the heroes that we want to pick, and like these are the heroes that are kind of left after those two things sort of like shake out, so to speak. And Morphling was a hero that I was convinced was going to get banned like pretty much like no matter what. I've been playing it a lot in pubs. I've got a decent win rate on the new strength tech. So when we had the opportunity to pick it, I kind of tunnel visioned on it like really hard because it was a hero that we really wanted to play, and the fact that they were completely prepared for that just tells me that Spike definitely like outthought us in that regard. So definitely when we play against this team again, we have to kind of readjust our approach a little bit. But I also just think from like a draft perspective, like beyond like the lack of preparation, I think we just uh like tried a little too hard and sort of looped back around into like not drafting very well. So like obviously we talked in Conch Chat a little bit about this, but like we did the 13 Zeus pick, which was supposed to be a flex, and then the 14-15 Ruptor Undying didn't really like tell us very much. But we were still like looking at the Rubik, and I think we kind of got a little too like lost in the weeds in that regard. I also think that we probably could have made slightly better use of Rhino's hero pool. I think that when we picked the monkey, we kind of like put our high value win the game draft slot on a hero that wasn't really going to do that. Um, and I think also, and you know, this is obviously cope or whatever, but like we do usually have a slow start going into the season. I mean, we've been practicing in the off season, but we haven't had a ton of opportunity to play 5-man pubs. So I think we were a little out of it. But also I think Spike just has like a really good read on like the pace that we like to play the game at. And I think that if we either adjust our pace or adjust to get to the pace that we want to in a better way, I think we'll have a better opportunity at beating Spike. But I mean, this is I want to say, yeah, this is the third series that we've played against Spooky Scary, and I think they've been like the hardest series that I've ever played in AD2L, and I mean that's saying something because I've been around for a while at this point. So I mean I give full props to Spike. I mean you're a crazy captain, and I think that one of the big like value points is that Spike is like a force multiplier. I talk about this a lot in Dota, the concept of like a force multiplier. Like you want to have obviously like a good foundation and like good players and like your in all your different roles and all that stuff, but you also need a player who might not necessarily appear to be like the best player on a stack, but just by being there they like make everyone else on the stack better. And I think Spike does that through like drafting, the homework that he does, the shot calling. I mean, playing against this team is so fucking infuriating, man. Like you can't rotate on anyone, you can't fucking dive, you can't fucking like play the dark parts of the map properly. You can't even play your parts of the map properly because they'll just smoke and run at you. Like this is a really hard team to beat.
Yeah, no, I think like I didn't watch the game too, so I will say that. I think game one, you know, like we talked about this in Kong chat, like you said. Um, I think that 13 pick Zeus was a little sus. I'm gonna be honest. It's just tough because I mean, like I'm a huge Zeus enjoyer. I think that's my highest level hero actually. I think I'm 25 on him. That is like he is such a hard hero to pick early, right? It's kind of like one of those things where I think if you pick a Zeus flex early, you have to show that it's a flex until like last pick, because otherwise, what you know, you're gonna get embered, right? Or like you're gonna get stormed, or like like there's gonna be some hero that's gonna get counterpicked there, and I feel like it really kind of puts you on the disadvantage there, right? Um, which
Yeah, it's
is
really
really
it's
what
really
showed there.
unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because like on paper, at least like maybe like a year or two ago it would have been true, but on paper, like Zeus is supposed to be a hero, in my opinion, that you can always pick mid. Like in previous iterations, like the hero was like might not be like a lane dominator or whatever, but like in theory, you can always pick a mid Zeus and then like have it have impact just because that's like how the hero works. But I think that just the changing of like the meta and the pace of the game, I just don't think it's true anymore. I think this is a really good support. That hero is obnoxious as fuck to play against on support, but
Yeah, he's
I
he's
think
he's
on mid
definitely a
it's
good
just fallen
support.
off.
It's just tricky because he has a lot of matchups that are hard, right? Like I think Ember is unironically his worst matchup. And once again, this is from someone that plays a lot of Zeus. I think it's really challenging because Ember can always harass him with Slight. Very hard for Zeus to win that lane. I would actually rather play against a fucking Ember than Storm. Either I think Storm's easier. I think the lane's not that bad. Because you have much higher damage. You can harass him out easier. Ember is it's a very tricky matchup. I was very shocked that Odin got the Ember after the Zeus pick. But you know what? It was a good week 1 showing though. I think it was very interesting. I think you're right that Spike is. I think besides IPA, I'll obviously I'll say my own captain, but I think IPA is probably the smartest drafter. But I think
Oh
that
yeah,
Spike
without a
is.
doubt.
I think Spike is right up there with him though. I think he's a very good drafter. He definitely thinks about everything. So
I
you
think that
definitely
comes
have to
with
be careful.
playing 20,000 games of Dota.
That's exactly it. So you got to be really careful when you're drafting against Spike, because he'll put you in corners, and if you make a mistake like that, like with like the Zeus pick, then the Rubik, Spike will capitalize on that. That like
My
he will 100% jump on that shit, and you will be very upset by that.
my last comment on this matchup too, just kind of continuing to be self-deprecating, I guess. The other thing that spoke to me about like how behind I was on like the homework part of this series was, I think like a couple days before the series happened, IPA like point blank asked Spike in Conch chat like what he was drafting or like what he was banning against us, and he said something to the effect of like you're definitely banning Lifestealer, and I remember that being like really strange to me because I said it in chat too, like I don't really think of Lifestealer as like one of my signature heroes. I used to play a ton of it in like earlier seasons when I was playing in like Challenger Warrior, but I don't really I think the hero is kind of boring, and I don't really like to bring it out, but I don't tend to think of it as like a must ban against me. But then both Spike and IPA were like, yeah, I would ban that hero against Savage, and I remember and like after the series, I was like, they clearly are thinking on a different plane of existence than I am, and I need to catch up to that.
They're like 5,000 IQ, dude. They're 5,000
I
Yeah.
IQ.
think I think you played it once in the league, and I watched that game, and last season that was, if I remember correctly, and then I saw a couple of your pubs, and like that's just like one of those heroes where you jump on it, and if you don't finish it, you can just lose a game. It's like playing against Wraith King, but worse because like you know what's gonna happen with Wraith King. Like you think you're gonna get that pop off on Lifestealer, and you don't, and it's demoralizing, and you just die, and like your soul leaves your body.
I played it. I
So
played it. I
true.
remember against. I played it game 3 against Krill Eaters, and I
Okay.
remember that game. I remember that game because IPA said something in Kong chat about how Krill Eater was like, they were like running around the map doing stuff on like all their other heroes, and they left the Pango bottom, and they're like, yeah, your Pango is literally watching this Lifestealer like triple your CS,
Yeah, that's a
and you're
tough
He
doing
that's a
nothing about
tough
it. And
matchup for
then
Pango.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then the next week we played against Zealous, and they let us have it against Sand King. I think it was Sand King Spearbreaker in the lane, and I did the same exact thing. I like tripled his CS. I was denying like every fucking creep. I walked out of lane. We like absolutely raffle stomped that game. So I guess like yeah, that's something that I should have considered a little bit more.
What
It's a Benny hero if I've ever seen one.
What I will say
Yeah.
too, if anyone's interested in watching some Lifestealer gameplay as well, season 41, Ouch Kabibbles. Watch his Lifestealer games. That guy is
Jesus,
fucking
that was
insane on Lifestealer.
yeah.
He won
Oh,
every single Lifestealer game, I'm pretty sure. He is insane on that hero. If anyone wants to watch some nice gameplay, definitely look at Helmets On with Ouch. He was really good on that shit. But
yeah, because he played it again. I think he played it the Warrior season I won, and that was like one of the 2 games that we lost in
yeah,
season was against Ouch
he's
Lifestealer. I was like,
really good on
what
Lifestealer.
the hell
Really,
is going
really good.
on with this
I
hero?
think the
Yeah.
Dota community as a whole, whenever there's small nerfs, they kind of abandon heroes that are still very good, and
Mhm.
I don't know if that's what's happened with Lifestealer, but to me, like he never really like fell off. He just played less. I mean,
Personally,
Spectre's
I
better,
personally I
but
think the reason why Lifestealer doesn't get picked is just because it's boring. Like
It is
the
very
Makes
boring.
sense.
I will say
the
that.
hero's fun in I think the new mechanic of getting to deny your creeps at 75% HP. I think that's fun, but that's also
Right.
like that's the first like 10 minutes of the game, and then you spend the entire rest of the game wandering around the map, right-clicking things, pressing rage. And the only other funny thing you can do on the hero is like infesting people with the ags, and then
Right.
like everything else about that hero is just so goddamn dull.
Yeah, no. I
I
will
get
say just on just for timeline, I want to move on really quick here. Sorry to cut you off, but we could probably get back there in a second. I just realized as you guys were talking, I didn't say how Nap was kind of came together. So I'm gonna really quickly do that, and then I'm gonna tag Twubz in or Twubz.
We're
Sorry, Twubz,
whiplashing.
Twubz. Sorry,
We're
How'd you call me? I'm leaving. I'm out.
Twubz.
Oh,
he actually left. All right.
rip.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the whiplash.
Wait, he can't rejoin.
Oh my god, dude, that's
The
fucking
super grease.
tragic.
Oh no.
That's an absolute disaster, is what that is.
Oh, it's
That's
because you
fucking
made the
funny.
VC private. That's why. All
Yeah,
right.
that's okay. That's okay. He'll come back.
There
There he
we
is.
go.
He'll come back. He'll come back.
He's back.
Anyway,
I'm back.
moving right along. Yeah. So basically, really quickly, I think a while before the signups happened, IPA reached out to me. Said, "Hey, are you interested in joining? It's going to be kind of the same core, IPA Fatality and
Cloud.
Cloud." And I was like, "Yeah, no, I definitely would be interested." And then he said, "Oh, yeah, I need you off lane because I already have secured black up mid." And I was like, "Holy fuck, guy! It's been a while since I played off lane," but I was definitely interested because I even told them this. But the two people I really wanted to play with actually was I've always wanted to play on an IPA stack because I have a lot of respect for him as a drafter, as a captain. I really wanted to play with him, and I really wanted to play with a helmets on player. So he told me it was him and Black Up, and I was like, "Fuck, dude, I want to play on this team so bad." But
Easily sold.
anyone that knows my personal life knows that it's a bit of a dumpster fire.
Oh
So
no.
I wasn't sure if I was able to play. So I actually said no. Then he reached out a couple weeks after, asking again, and I said no a second time. And
Oh my
then
god, dude.
on the
Hold
third
on.
time, I actually reached out to him and said, "You know what? I actually really want to play. So please, like, if there's room, I will join as the offlane." And
And
there was room.
can I just say I'm actually so jealous of that because I don't play outside the Savage Banner, but if I ever did, it would be to join an IPA stack. That is like the only other player in like all of AD2L outside of like a couple people that aren't in Conk anymore, but that is like the one person I would drop like almost everything to go play on a team with. I would love to play on an IPA stack, dude. And the
Yeah,
fact that you turned him down twice, that makes me mad.
yeah. I turned him down twice actually.
I mean, then you're also a coach for like a week, and then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to go play with
Well,
IPA.
yeah, because I initially didn't think I'd be able to play, so I said I'd coach Scythe, but no, it ended up working out. So yeah, sorry, but to bring us back on track, Twubs, let's tag
Life
you in
stealer.
here. Let's tag you in here.
Yeah.
Obviously the North American Partnership played the MHK FC, and it was a 2-0 for Nap for us, but it was a hard fought series actually, to be honest with
Wait,
you.
what
It
the
was
fuck?
both games were 50-minute plus games, so it was
Bro,
not easy.
why the fuck is MHK playing carry Centaur?
Well,
What the fuck?
That's a good
don't
question.
jump the
That's a
queue. Don't
That's a
jump.
really good question.
Fuck,
Yeah, I have an
dude.
interjection on this
Don't jump the
on that
fucking
matchup
queue.
that I want to have too. I have some complaints
Anyway,
I have to make.
Twubs,
I want to
that
hear the
series.
complaints. I'm
Yeah.
ready for them.
What the fuck happened, Twubs? Because I
What do
think
you mean?
I think most people had that as in fact, I think every single person had that as a tie, but we were able to get the 2-0. So, from your perspective, how do you think that series went? What went wrong for you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought it went pretty shitty right? Because we lost 2-0. But what went wrong? I think that our draft game one was ambitious. It was like us trying to
Ambitious is one way of putting
yeah. Gotta stay positive. I think we were trying to flex some muscles that just weren't really grown yet, but that's kind of what you need to do to gain those muscles. And so we're trying to get a little fancy with the idea was kind of like, okay, this is a really good Razor game. We have some really good Razor players. I'm pretty good at the hero. I think Chandler's pretty good at the hero. So okay, we'll pick the Razor and we're gonna figure out what to do with it. And I don't think we had enough time in the draft to like come to the conclusion of the best way of, with our 4 initial picks, coming to the conclusion of like what is the last pick. I think we did Storm, right? And that just didn't really tie everything together all neatly. So that's what I think happened there with the Centaur pick. Overall, I think in general, I think that we played a really unique style for us in the 2 games that we played. It was like very ratty. It was very grimy. Phoenix, you can speak on this too. I'm sure of like we were just pushing out side lanes a shit ton. We were avoiding fights all the time, and I think we did that kind of well. But we never really were prepared for winning the game, which is pretty important to win the game. Is taking like good team fights and getting objectives. And so I just think it was the whole series as a whole was just us experimenting with some play styles that we're not as used to, some drafting styles we're not as used to, and then we lost
Okay.
2-0. Which
Okay.
If
So this
if
is-
the editor would be so kind as to paste the image that I put in the chat over this entire discussion.
Okay, let's get there. Let's get there though. Okay, I have a couple thoughts here. The first game
Yeah.
in particular. I am so shocked that you guys put the Centaur safe lane over the Razor. I'm gonna be so real. I think that's psychotic, quite frankly. I think
yeah, it was. It was
Razor
psychotic.
against Tide. Like I literally saw the
Yeah,
Razor and I was like, oh fuck, my lane is over. Like my lane is over. It's gonna be so bad. I'm gonna get stomped. It's gonna be terrible. Like oh
And
my
I-
god. And then you put it the offlane, which made sense because it is against Ursa. So I got what you were thinking. I understood it, but then you had a center a bad lane against a Tide, like double melee against Tide. I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's it. You know, like it just felt really weird
you
to
had
me.
a safe lane lifestealer, my god, not Ursa.
Or Lifestealer, sorry, Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Apologies.
Can
No,
I
same,
interject
same thing.
for-
Same thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Can I
It's a-
interject? Considering when we played Chewy Gang, they intentionally flexed the Lifestealer into the Razor lane so that their offlane axe could have a game in game 2. You guys flexed a Razor into the Lifestealer lane. Lifestealer still had a game. If like Aiden's saying, if you flex the Razor against the actual offlane, Phoenix doesn't have a game at this point.
I felt it was weird because I felt that Centaur could still do okay against Lifestealer. Like that's why I thought it was weird. Whereas like I feel like Centaur against Tide is like totally fine for Tide, right? Like Tide doesn't give a fuck like at all, right? So it felt a little weird to me, but
You're still
I-
fed though.
well, you're still sad, but not nearly as sad though. Not
No,
nearly
I
as
said
sad.
I said you still fed though.
Oh, I still fed.
He only had 2
Yeah.
deaths
Yeah,
pre-10.
you guys understand. We knew Phoenix was gonna troll his team and play poorly.
Oh,
so
of course,
we
of course.
We let him get farm.
Of course,
Our-
absolutely.
That's why we won 2-0, baby. Let's go.
No, but the other thing I will
agree.
say,
I don't think this critique is wrong at all. I don't think it's off base at all. So I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm on board with it.
no, the other thing I will say though, and this is a theme for that entire series, is that you guys were almost too good at splitting. Like it was actually pissing me off. Like it was like every
Good.
time, like every
Mission
time.
accomplished.
Oh, it was so frustrating. It'd be like, oh, our top's pushing in, and then we'd run top, clear the way. Oh, our bot's pushing it. Like it did feel like we were getting pulled around the map. So you guys did do good on that sense. It felt like we couldn't take the lead in a lot of these games. We were very reactive instead of proactive, which I think
So
is
what
what
I'm hearing is it was TI3 Alliance.
essentially, yeah, no, but I think that's what kind of delayed
When
the
we
game.
lost.
Yeah, but you lost. Yeah. No, I think
The
that that's
shitty
what
version of
delayed
Alliance.
the. I think that's what delayed the first game, though. To be honest with you, I felt like we were ahead a lot of that first game. I felt like it was a pretty convincing game for us. I think the reason it went so long is because you guys were very good at kind of pulling us around, essentially, which
Sure,
kind of which delayed the game. I felt pretty confident for Nap. I think we had a pretty good showing that game. Second game, I think was a lot closer, 100%.
Sure.
You
I think we
guys
should
were
have won
winning.
that one, to be honest.
This is where my complaints come in.
I think you guys should have
I
won that
agree with
game.
all the complaints. Every single
Yeah.
one of them, I agree.
I think you guys
on
should
board.
probably have won that game, to be honest.
Yeah.
You guys were leading. You guys were like 7k up with an anti-mage at minute 30. You guys should have
Yeah,
won that
yeah.
game. 100%. 100% should have won that game. But what went wrong on that game, you think?
Man, it's actually the same as game one, right? It was just like, except game one we weren't ahead, but there was a lot of split pushing. I felt like we were playing like we were behind, and we weren't behind. Like you said, we were like winning the game. So yeah, I think it was just like this mindset of like split pushing is always good. We can force them around the map. When in reality, you know, like at a certain point, like I said earlier, like you have to win a fight to win the game. You need to specifically you need to win a fight next to the enemy objectives so that you can push their base and maybe get racks. And we just kept split pushing. So
I mean, if you guys
it
look-
could be, yeah, you can talk, Simba.
If you guys look at your lineup, you guys have a much better team fight team than they do.
Sure.
They have OD Dawnbreaker. That's their team fight. You guys have
Mhm.
Tide. You have Puck. You have Clockwork who can go in and start the fight. You have Yuan Hoodwink who is a really good team fighter because you have a lot of CC. Like you guys out team fight them. But instead of what I'm looking at from that like 30-minute mark, 20 to 30 minutes, if you look at it on Dota Buff, you have Puck dead. Puck's dead 5 times from minute 20 to minute 35. In that same amount of time, you kill Jug once, you kill OD once, and you kill Zeus once.
Yeah, you know what's crazy too is now extend that same critique, and then Dawnbreaker has Blink Sheepstick, and we've got Sheepstick on Zeus, and we kept split pushing like it was gonna work, and so
Yeah, that was
yes,
tough.
yeah, it was a problem. Yeah, I think if I had to give a now a underlying reason of why that's the case, right? I am not that good of a pause 4 player, and I think that I do maybe let's say 33% of the shot calling on our team overall. We don't have like a dedicated IGL or anything. It's communal, but I do about 33%. Let's say on offlane last season, the season before. That is so easy to play. It's so brain off. Like, oh, I just need to farm and like go attack people because I have like good fighting items. Super brain off, and I can really think about what's going on in the game. Now in pause 4, I'm like a fish out of water. I'm trying to figure out just how to play my hero in the context of the game and how to play the map. And so it's harder for me personally to kind of micromanage people. And so I think I personally this series struggled a lot to like correct the ship. I was kind of calming at various points, like, "Hey guys, like we have to fight them. Like we have a good opportunity here. Like we need to fight." It's within the context of playing pause 4. I don't think I was putting my hero in good positions to make stuff happen. I don't think I was being as hands on as I'd want to be if I was had more mental power, more like brain space dedicated to thinking bigger picture and heads up versus like just playing my hero in the game.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I will also say, like, once again, both those games went 50 minutes plus. You guys did things right, clearly. Like, yes, we 2-0'd you, but it was clearly not like a super easy game in both games. So I still think that MHK, MHKFC, I still think that that's a very strong team. I think that you guys will definitely make it far. I'm not too concerned for you guys. I just think that if you guys just tighten it up a little bit, I think you guys are going to be really fine. Just
Eh.
a little bit less ratting, a little bit more fighting, especially when you're strong, and I think you guys will be looking pretty good. I think.
Plus, if MHK could learn how to build anti-mage properly.
Okay.
What is your complaint, Simba? What is
Okay.
your
Let's not get
Please get a Scotty.
Scotty, interesting.
He died so many times because he just couldn't tank anything, and he went last item Abyssal. Like the
He,
few other times I saw him get caught is because if he had like any amount of HP, he gets out free. He got
He,
caught because he had 0 HP.
Here's a
Simba,
funny
do you have a
anecdote.
fan club?
Yeah, true. Or your fan club.
Where the fuck is your fan club, asshole?
It's called
All
Grid
right?
Suck. Simba fan
Yeah,
club.
I am the last Grin team standing. I am the.
Just
I am
I
the
still don't
end
see any
fan
fan club, motherfucker. I see no fan club. So
I
In
mean,
that vein, what Simba just said,
He's got a
here's a
point.
funny anecdote from that game, is that MHK had said at one point, maybe like 20 minutes in, because if you look at the team, it's got like really good heroes to build BKB against. He's like, man, like even for supports, this is a pretty good BKB game. And then he had Butterfly queued up, and I was like, oh, maybe you should build the BKB, big dog. No
like
flame.
if he goes BKB Scotty, he just is so insanely tanky. BKB Scotty Basher, he's so tanky on that anti-mage that he just doesn't die so easily.
I think that was a a pocket, like deep in the pocket anti-mage pickup. I don't know the last time he actually played
He has
anti-mage.
74 games on the hero with a 50% win rate. That's a deep pull.
I'm actually surprised that you guys went anti-mage that game too. It didn't
He
feel
has
like
8 games on Centaur, by the way. Fun
it,
fact.
it,
So that did not work.
it didn't feel like a particularly good anti-mage game to me either. But I mean,
Oh, we liked it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
We were on board. It was that or I said Skew and DM's Phoenix, but the other one was Clinks. I was on board with the Clinks personally because I thought
I liked the Clinks
Block
more.
Clinks would have owned.
Yeah.
And you get like a quick work it, and then you just own the life
Yeah.
stealer or the pause one.
The jog. He was jog that game.
Jog, yeah, that's what it was. I don't have the games in front of me. But yeah, that was the other option. But I like the AM personally.
Also,
going back to the routing idea, or you can talk.
No, go ahead.
Back to the routing idea is I feel like a core part of the MHKFC identity is within the context of like the Dota game specifically being a little bit insufferable. When you think about my offlane pool, it is like meant to annoy you. Like Visage, Broodmother, like Organomass, Lone Druid. This shit is supposed to be really annoying, and I am glad that we frustrated you, Phoenix. If there's one thing I want to do, win or lose, is I want to make the other team pissed off. So that is great to hear. We scrimmed Simba's team the Tuesday, I think, or Sunday or something, and we picked they picked AM, and we picked last pick Meepo support, and that's what I'm looking for with MHKFC is annoying picks to tilt the enemy team.
You
That wasn't
definitely
even
pissed
a
me
good
off.
meepo. It was just annoying.
You definitely pissed
Good.
me off, especially in the first game. But I also just want to say, shout out Black Up that game or that first game. He went 20-3 on Necro. That's all I'm gonna say. Fucking
Black
guys,
Op's crazy.
that
He's
guy's
crazy.
fucking cracked. That's
He's
all I'm gonna
good.
say.
Can I have a little like a soapbox to glaze your team, Phoenix, real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, of course you're gonna say yes.
Yeah, please. If you're gonna twist my arm, Twubz, I guess you can go ahead.
Your team's good, man. I think you probably have I don't know every single player in Conk this season, but based on what I've looked at, it's probably the single highest value for the rank they're at player pickup in Black Up.
He's fucking so good.
He's probably one of the best mids at one of like the lowest ranks out of all the mid players, which is crazy. I agree with the talk we were having earlier about IPA being an insane captain. IPA is really good. He's got like the wise old man buff where like I play against him, and because he's older, I just assume that he's got unending wisdom in his head, whether he has it or not. Yeah, I think you guys, it's a really good team. Ranks are really solid. It seems like you guys mesh together pretty well, and it's like a cool-headed, stable team. So I have you as my number one team in Conk right now, personally.
Yeah, I think that it's funny too because we don't play like a ton together too, but yeah, I think it's the vibes felt really immaculate. I'll say that it felt really good. Like in that entire series, no one was tilting. Super PMA, felt amazing, and I think that IPA really I think he's the best drafter for my money. I think he's such a good drafter. Like in both games, I felt like we had the better draft. Like obviously, like no offense, of course. I felt really confident in both games in our draft. I thought that we made so much sense. That last pick Necro I think was perfect. I think you guys had no solution for the Necro that game, which I mean worked out because he went 20-3. I just feel very confident with this 5. And yeah, I'm really interested to see kind of how it progresses. But it definitely was a good series, and I'm very interested to see how you guys progress. But I know we've been doing this already for a while, so really quickly before I let you guys go, I'm just curious what you guys think of the teams that are in Conk right now, really quickly.
So really quick,
Oh
because
yeah, go
I
ahead.
actually got a split,
Yeah, go.
because I'm getting bullied into playing pubs.
Yeah.
So first off, don't forget to talk about the Crownfall versus Slugbearers matchup, because you did just glaze over that.
No,
Um,
that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
okay, and then the other thing I want to say is I think my top 2 teams to watch this season are going to be Nap and holy fuck, and Spike's team, which, of course I'm going to say that because the 2 of their players are in the call here, but no, for real, I think those 2 teams are going to go really far this season, and I'm really interested to see where you guys end up placing overall. That being said, thanks so much for having me, Phoenix, and I will
Wait.
catch you all.
Before you
Hmm?
go,
Uh-huh.
if you had to pick one team to win that's not Savage, who's gonna win?
Spike.
Spike. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You get the vote. You get the vote of confidence, Spike. There you go.
Sorry, losers and haters. It's
I
going to be
appreciate
Spike
that.
if it ain't me.
It's gonna be Spike. Okay. All
All
right.
right. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks so much
All
for
right,
having me.
guys.
Have a
See
good
you,
night.
Benny.
Yeah. See ya.
Yep.
All right. Really quickly then, with you guys here. Obviously that was a shocking outcome, of course, with the crown fall against the Slug Bears as well. But that was actually going to be my last question, to be honest with you. Was if you guys had to pick a team that was going to win, and you can't pick your own team, because everyone's obviously going to pick their own team. I would pick my own team too, naturally. But if you had to pick a team that's going to win, who do you think it's going to be? Jeff, go with you first.
Well, I'm just gonna glaze probably my best friend in terms of Dota perspective. Probably Nap.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Spike?
This is hard, honestly, like real hard. But I'm gonna say Savage, not just to exchange like back and forth, but I think they know what they're doing and they have the most time together. And I think like over the course of a season, that does mean like that's one of the intangibles that matters, and like just the ability to get through hard games and tilting games. But and like there's been some speculation of their MMRs. They are much better than their current MMR. Whoever your opinion lies on like how they got there or what how you feel about it is on you. But like they are just clearly very solid uh, and or better than their MMRs.
Fair enough. Okay. Twubs, what do you think?
To win the whole season,
Yeah.
I got easy young blood for sure. No, I'm kidding. If
Easy
you guys are
young
listening, if you guys listen, I want to
We
see you guys in
we
Conch chat more.
literally know nothing about them.
No, that's why he's doing it. That's why he's doing it. I love
Top
it.
in Conch League chatter, man. We want to hear from you. But I said it before. It's North American partnership. I think you guys are just really solid. The other top two teams, not to everyone else has said, but I'm a big fan of like continuity. I believe more in a team that's got like more seasons in the past. I can judge them better. Spooky Scary Skeletons, Dr. Spike, and then Benny and Savage Spirits. Those are both pretty good teams, I think.
Okay, totally fair, totally fair. I'll give a shout out here. I think the most obvious, if I wasn't gonna go for myself, um, I think you're probably right on. I'd probably edge it to Spike actually over Benny, over Savage. If I had to do a dark horse, I might actually say Grin Scythe. The only reason is because I think Hexy can solo carry a lot of games, and I think if they can figure their shit out and play around him and like really do good, I think that they can go far with him. I think if I had to do like an
That's not a
underrated.
team you want to face in the playoffs
No,
for sure.
and you know what? You know what? I would say this. I think if I was playing lower bracket, the team I'd want to play the least against is probably Scythe. That is like I would not want to play that team for my playoff life. 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
if you look at our team, if our back's against the wall, we're gonna be that animal that you put in the corner that's gonna come out fighting. So
Yep. No, 100%, 100%. Otherwise, though, I'm very interested to see how Crownfall does. They got a 2-0 over Slug Bears, which I think no one was expecting.
we got week two. Week two
So,
just dropped. Let's go.
oh, okay,
Oh,
okay.
that's
This is
amazing
live. This
content.
is live. Okay, we gotta do it then. Let's see. So we have North
All right.
American. Oh, we're Nap against Skeletons. Oh
No
my
way.
Oh,
God, that
that's a
was
good
the
matchup.
matchup.
Okay.
Oh, that's the matchup that I was hoping to avoid actually. But all right,
Jeez. Did it
okay.
just come out? Oh,
It
man.
just
Yeah,
came out.
literally just dropped.
So it's Nap against
Wow.
Skeletons. It's Grin Scythe against Easy Youngblood, which, ooh, that's going to be interesting because we know nothing about the Youngblood. We have the MHKFC against Savage.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's a tough
Both teams got
0-0
0-2s,
match.
right?
Holy,
Uh-oh.
that's a tough
Someone could be
0-2
0-4
matchup.
out of those two.
Yeah, that's a really tough 0-4 matchup. Oh my, or 0-2. That's tough. Holy
And
shit.
Slug Bears gets their bye week, so at least they're guaranteed to win.
Yep, and then Chewy against Crownfall. Okay, I know we've been doing this for a while now, but I gotta pick your guys' brains on this really quick here. Like this is crazy. Twubs, how do you feel about that matchup? That's a tough matchup, I think.
I
That's
think
tough.
we won this team last season, right? And then we
Yeah.
went into the abyss. IPA sent us to the abyss. And look, the parallel here is IPA just lifted us from the abyss by O2ing us. We're gonna 1-1 Savage Spirits, and then it's gonna be the reversal of the pattern. We're getting off the despair train. So I'm
Or-
predicting 1-1, and we're 2-0 every week after.
Or it could be worse.
love it.
IPA sent you further into the shadow.
No,
realm.
no. Maybe. Let's hope not.
That's a really tough matchup though. I'm gonna be honest. That's really tough. Like for an opening like O2 matchup, fuck man, that's crazy. That's not what I would have wanted for sure.
Think about this. Think about how contested Morphling's gonna be. They play Morphling 1, we play Morphling 4, right?
I hope
Oh
it's
my
not contested.
God.
I hope it's banned, dude, for fucking from HK's sake. Holy shit. Okay, but then Spike, you guys are playing us, dude. How do you feel about that? I was literally messaging in your Discord saying I really hope we don't play you because I think that's gonna be a tough matchup.
Yeah, I'd like a couple more weeks to like feel better about the team, but I guess trial by fire, and
That's
I
gonna
don't know.
be tough.
I think it's gonna be fun. I hope it's fun. I hope the games are good, and I hope like they're frustrating and like really close, no matter who wins.
So like Spike's like Twubz said, you're gonna go for the mental damage instead of the actual win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think to be honest, I think that's gonna be the match of the week. I think that's the most interesting matchup. We both obviously got the 2-0s, but I think that like I don't know. I think we're both front runners, so I'm really curious to see how that goes. I'm really curious. I'm
I
expecting
think
a
a
tie.
2-0, the 2-0 would be a really strong indicator for one of the two teams. Like if you 2-0 that matchup, you're looking really good going into the rest of the season.
I agree. 100%. I'm
I expect a
expecting a
1-1
tie.
also.
Yeah, I'm expecting a tie. I think we're pretty evenly matched on both those teams, but really interested to see how that goes. Jeff, I imagine you have probably not too much opinion on this, just because you don't really know anything about Easy Youngblood. But how are
I
you
don't.
feeling about that, though?
We're
Considering that,
we're supposed to scrim them like 2 weeks before season. It fell through just to scheduling conflicts. So we know nothing about Groundfall. I've scouted them, so
no,
I've looked at them.
it's Easy
I have
Youngblood,
an
not
idea about
Crownfall.
them. Oh, my bad. Yeah, Easy Youngblood. We were supposed to
Okay.
scrim them. We were supposed to scrim about every team in Conk so far, and because of Clorkles and his scheduling conflicts most of the time is why we end up falling through on scrims. But yeah, we'll see. I've already looked at Easy Youngblood before, so I'll figure out. I'll try to scout them and look into them a little deeper than my usual just scrim scouting reports, where I just kind of look at what you do and call it good.
Are you gonna 2-0 them, Jeff, or no?
We know not. It depends on if my team can figure everything out. If we can't, then it's gonna be another ugly 1-1. If we can figure it out, maybe a 2-0 either way.
I'm expecting a 2-0 for Youngblood, dude. I'm ride or die with the Bloods, dude. I'm ride or die.
You did this with ZG randomly last
Yeah.
season.
Dude, I love
Just saying,
and
like
it
all of a
didn't.
sudden Phoenix was like, "Yeah, I got GG tattooed on my face," and we're like,
Dude,
"Oh, okay."
I love ZG, bro. I love him, dude.
Then,
Don't even give me.
didn't last season ZG also struggle all season after he said that?
No, no.
Was it-
Well,
was it-
They were in
maybe.
upper bracket playoffs, weren't they?
Yeah, they were upper bracket, bro. They were good.
So the Phoenix curse isn't so bad. All right, sounds good.
That's it. That's it. Well, listen, guys, we've now had this running for almost an hour 20. So I think we should call this here. We lost Benny on the way. I'm sure if Benny was here, he would say that Savage would 2-0. So I'll do that for
He
him.
was scared. I was
Just
gonna talk
just
my shit, and he was gonna get scared, so he left ahead of
yeah,
time.
that's just it. That's just it. Just pretend that I'm Benny, you know? I just imagine my voice just got like deeper by like fucking like 7 decibels and just pretend that I said 2-0 Savage and
So imagine your balls finally dropped. Got it.
Jeff, how fucking dare
Damn.
you? Anyway, all right. So on that note, thanks for joining us for this opening episode of season 2, and we will catch you guys next time.
Thanks for having us, brother.